Wake up. All right. Let's start this bad boy in 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Speak Freely, a very exciting episode. We have a hell of a show today. I'm super excited because the guests we have today, I legit love all three of them. They're amazing, wonderful people. But real quick, I am, of course, Mr. Freely, along with Mr. Speak. Kuno Plum Pudding. I just saw your freaking screen. I love it. All right, how are you, my dude?
I'm good. I am very warm today. As you can see, I've got multiple layers. Yes. How are you?
I'm good. A little tired because I have some stuff I've been working on, but I'll plug all that crap at the end of the show. I want to get today's show started because I'm very excited. Are you ready to do this?
Ready.
All right,
ready
we have three very special guests up first, and she told me to introduce her as this. We have the 2019 podcast reactor loser, my personal favorite, though I voted for her. We have the wonderful Abby Friel. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for coming back. I'm glad the last time you were here, you don't hate us enough to not come back, so thank you.
Yeah, it was one of the most fun podcasts I've ever been on, so I'm hyped to do it Christmas style.
Brave number one.
Yes.
Stop.
Hashtag brave number one.
We stopped it before it got that far. No.
If that would have happened, I would not be here right now. So
up next, we have the current 2020 podcast reactor nominee. She is also a fantastic singer, a great competitor. We have the great Jeannine, the Machine. Burr, 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 burr.
Wow. Hi, thanks for having me. You almost broke my heart with the Tarantino bracket last time, but not enough to not come back. So.
I mean, I'm here just trying to officially break hearts this time, so we'll see how today goes. And then finally, I'm very excited for this because I've been getting to know her a little bit over quarantine, and she's a wonderful person. She's hilarious. She's fun. She's also has a podcast, also up as a Schmodown reactor from POV, point of view. We have Jillian. Hey.
Hello. This is my first time. I'm so excited. I feel like I should have had put up lights or something, but I have a Christmas sweater, so we're good.
I mean, honestly, if you go above what Kuno Plum Pudding did, you're already winning.
Fair.
So today we are doing a very special Christmas movie bracket where each of us, except me and Brian, it's our collective two, picked our top 2 Christmas films of all time, and we're putting them head to head in a tournament bracket style. And here we go. You guys ready to see the bracket?
Yes.
Give
it to me.
No.
Yeah, what if we say no?
Edit this.
What if we say no? What do you do? No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to continue.
You can find me at David B.
I'm kidding. Yes, give it to me. Show me the bracket.
Actually, I do want to start with something before we get to the bracket. I kind of want to go through, not like a full history, but a little synopsis of what is your relationship with Christmas films, right? Because not everyone loves Christmas films.
That's why he's my co-host, because I didn't think of that.
Some people like me really love the really cheesy ones, like the Princess Switch 2 Switched Again. Because now there's 3 of them. So I kind of want to go through the history of we'll start with Abby. What is your relationship with Christmas films?
I love them. They're a part of my family's own Christmas traditions. We watch A Christmas Story every year, and now that we're all above the age of teenagers, we actually switched over to Die Hard every year. That's become a thing. But growing up, I definitely loved the most random kids movies, Barbie in A Christmas Carol. That was a random direct-to-video one that I always loved. Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas.
Yes, Twice Upon a Christmas.
Twice Upon a Christmas is better than Once Upon a Christmas, and I will stand by that.
So good.
But then also just like the claymations, the one that that you only watch once a year, but it's like especially
the
just like
Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
Rankin Bass. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I love Christmas films. I am not the type of person to randomly put one on if it's not December, but I have a few that are my go-tos. And if I don't get to them every year, that's okay. But they're always just wholesome. And if you hate a Christmas movie, you're just a negative person, and that's the truth. So,
Spilling the tea.
spilling the tea.
Nice.
All right, let's move on to Jeannine.
So I'm fairly crotchety most of the year. And when it gets to Christmas time, I'm like, I don't want to spend money. Oh my gosh. But when I watch holiday movies, all of that kind of melts away. And I remember like why Christmas is special. So Christmas movies always kind of get me out of that funk and into like a more positive, happy, wholesome mode. And I do have like holiday movie traditions. Me and my husband watch Love Actually and The Holiday every Christmas. And so definitely just the time of year where like my icy heart, kind of melts away a little bit. And I remember, those good feelings. So.
Jill, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I probably have only seen maybe like 6 or 7 Christmas movies in my entire life. Like if I really thought about it, I've probably seen more. Like I've seen all like the old school stop motion, like the Santa Claus one and the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I've seen those, but I'm always more big on like the TV specials growing up, like the Christmas, like the Christmas shows. Like, give me a good Hey Arnold Christmas special, and I was like, that's when I knew it was Christmas time. It's when the Hey Arnold Christmas special was on. But as I got older, I really started to get into Christmas films. Every year on Christmas, my uncle, the movie changes every year that he puts on the TV for 24/7 for the entirety of Christmas. It's usually either Christmas Vacation or A Christmas Story. And so now these movies have become engraved in my head and are like, now I'm like obsessed with them. Could I do a 30 Days of Christmas kind of Christmas movie watch along? Probably not, but I still adore these Christmas films, and I'm excited to do this so I can explore more films that I haven't seen yet and broaden my Christmas movie horizons.
Oh, dude! Hey Arnold Christmas. I grew up around that area too, so like my favorite cartoon Christmas was always like SpongeBob.
The SpongeBob Christmas, the Rugrats Christmas,
Yeah,
the Arnold Christmas, like all those ones were like
iconic. Yeah,
they're iconic.
Yes.
They're iconic. When Mr. Wynn's daughter comes into the boarding house, like how can you not like start crying? Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Abby, just so you know, Hey Arnold was a cartoon on Nickelodeon.
Okay. It's a little bit above my time, but I'm aware.
I always forget that was probably a little bit before.
I actually had a random VHS of. Is there a movie of Hey Arnold?
There is. Don't watch it.
That is the only thing. I had that on VHS, and that was the only random thing I watched. The
only Hey Arnold movie you need to watch is the one they just made like a year ago, like 10 years after the fact. That one's good. That one's solid. But I digress. It's Christmas.
David, be merry.
David is merry. I mean, Christmas was a big part of my family. Coming from like a Hispanic household, like Christmas was the whole month, not just a day for us. So it was like immediately after Thanksgiving, it'd be like, all right, let's arm the tree, let's put the lights, and like, and like we love Christmas so much, we celebrate it the day before, not at the actual day. So like Hispanics will like have like a big get together Christmas Eve, and then like open presents immediately at midnight. It's always been kind of a thing on my aunts, uncles, and cousins. So like, I always grew up watching everything Christmas, from like the claymation, like Rudolph and like Frosty the Snowman, and then like Christmas carols. Like my favorite Christmas carol was the Disney one with Mickey Mouse and like McScrooge.
Yeah.
McDuck, and,
that
like,
one is pretty good.
That one's hilarious. I still remember like Goofy being like the ghost that visits him and he falls down the stairs. So yeah, it's always been a part of like my life. So like when when December comes around, it's just like, all right, it's Christmas time. So I try to inundate myself with like movies and Christmas music. I have like a bunch of different Christmas albums that I love, from like ranging from like jazz to rock to metal to country to instrumental to just plain voices. So yeah, I'm a big Christmas buff fan, stan, whatever. So
We stand Christmas.
we stan Christmas.
We stand Christmas.
Brian, what about you?
So I, like David, grew up in a somewhat Hispanic household. Because my parents are from Peru. Like, we're Japanese, 100% Japanese, but just my parents are from Peru. And even though my mom is Buddhist, like that Christmas culture kind of goes beyond like what it originally meant. And so Christmas has always been a big part of my childhood, even up until now, right? Like, my mom is super excited to get the Christmas tree out, put up all the lights. And as like I got older, it kind of became my job to put the lights out, and I hated it. But
Same.
yeah,
Mijo, pon las luces, mijo. Let's go.
but I appreciate it now. And I also grew up with the same as David, like watching the Rudolph, the Snow Miser, right? All that kind of good stuff.
Oh my god, the Heat Miser, and yeah.
The Heat Miser, yeah. And yeah, like I said, I think I mentioned it before, or did I mention during the podcast that I love cheesy Christmas movies.
Yes.
Yes, right? Like the Princess Switch, Night Before Christmas. I just watch Vanessa Hudgens Christmas movies all the time. But also even like the Jessica Alba movie, what's it called? Like the Christmas at El Camino or something like that?
You know what? Not familiar.
Me neither.
No? Huh. Okay.
Deep dives from this guy.
I was like Ghost
Yeah.
of Christmas Past, but that's a Ghost
Ghost
of
of Girlfriends Past. Yeah.
Wow, this is
Not
why I'm not a competitor. This is not why I'm a competitor.
Same.
But I absolutely love Christmas movies. I'm even gonna watch Last Christmas later tonight, so that'll be fun.
I like
Okay.
It's a good movie.
That being said, we will get this bracket on screen. All right. So we got, for the audience at home, I will explain that each competitor here got to nominate 2 Christmas films to put on this list, because it's really impossible to just say these are the 10 or 8 best Christmas films, right? So everything's always subjective. So we asked everyone to nominate at least 2. And then David and I collectively picked 2. So we have a nice round 8 number 8. So we can get through this bracket as quickly as possible.
It won't be quick.
You know?
It's never quick with us. Giggity.
Yeah, so-
Sorry, what?
David, you want to read
Yes.
our list?
On the very top, we have our number 1 seed, Die Hard, against our number 8 seed, Jingle All the Way. And then up next, we have our number 3 seed, The Muppet Christmas Carol, against our number 6, The Holiday. Up next, we have Elf versus Love Actually, and I'm already dreading that round the most. And then our last round is Klaus versus How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I have to reiterate the Jim Carrey version.
Correct.
Not the original animated
Not the
one.
OG.
Not the OG.
The Jim Carrey one, the even better one.
The even better one. We'll see if everyone agrees. So, I'm gonna ask. They always say age before beauty, but in this case, we're gonna let Abby go first, and I'm gonna let her choose which round she wants to go for first.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that like 3 and 6, like those were up against each other. So that's going to be like the hardest one for me. So I don't know if like I want to do that now. Okay.
Just rip the Band-Aid.
Rip the Band-Aid.
No, you know what? I'm gonna be a chicken and I'm gonna do 1 and 8.
1 and 8, Die Hard
Yeah.
versus Jingle All the Way. So, Abby, since you're starting us off,
Okay.
First of all, what's your history with these movies, if you have any, and then ultimately, what is your vote?
My history with Die Hard is that I watch it almost every year for like the last 5 years for Christmas. And Jingle All the Way, I have only seen the YouTube video essays about how terrible it is. I have not actually seen the film. So, yeah, I was going to watch it tonight, but then I realized that the Bachelorette finale was on. So,
But my roommates are watching right now.
yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, so I've been meaning to watch it. You know, what's his name from Star Wars? The
Jake
little
Lloyd.
kid. Jake Lloyd. We love to see it. We wouldn't have the prequels without this movie. This movie is historic. I understand its value in cinematic history. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, our favorite governor. Yes, I know that there's like Sinbad in it.
Yeah.
Okay. He has that really good movie with when he's the president's bodyguard. Or whatever.
Yes, first kid.
First kid.
He stand first kid.
Okay. Side note. I love it. But that's
Take
all.
notes, Abby. Take notes.
Yes, that is all I have to say about Jingle All the Way. I'm sure it's amazing, but my vote is for Die Hard.
Fair.
All right.
Alrighty, Jeannine.
Also, who put Jingle All the Way in this bracket? I need to know.
Real talk. I know. Real talk. It was. We got really heated for a minute about Jingle All the Way, but I mean, if Pajukin's gonna put it on their top 20 list, the least we can do is.
Can we just all agree that we love that is now being like officially called the Pajukin?
The Pajukin.
The Pajukin. You gotta say it like you're sneezing though. The Pajukin. Like,
Pajukin.
Pajukin. Yeah.
So, up next, Jeannine.
Ooh. Okay. So, Jingle All the Way. Really love this movie. Sinbad is hilarious. Yes, first kid we stand. So so I really do love Sinbad, and he's probably like my favorite part of this movie. He's hilarious. Arnold is really funny too, as well. Just a lot of comedy that works, and the whole, finding a toy for your kid and the craziness of Christmas is really relatable. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to make this quick and say Die Hard as well. Like, it's epic. I love holiday action. I love the whole debate of whether it's a Christmas movie or not. I mean, I think it's a Christmas movie, even though Bruce Willis doesn't think it's a Christmas movie. Just the action is great. I mean, Alan Rickman is great. Me and my co-host Morgan did a watch along of this, and it was so much fun. Like, it just gets you in a great zone. So yeah, I'm just going to make this quick and say Die Hard. Yeah.
Alrighty. For the win, if she votes for it, Jilly, your history with these films and ultimately who are you voting for?
So I am with Jeannine. I love Jingle All the Way. It's cheesy, it's campy, and I am all for it. Like, Arnold is freaking hilarious in that. He's over the top. It's one of those just like cheesy movies that I just can't help but love. Die Hard has my love Alan Rickman in it. And I love the debate that is it a Christmas movie? Is it not a Christmas movie? I love that. But I'm going to be honest. I think I've only seen it once and in the background of me doing Christmas things. So I have never actually sat down and watched Die Hard.
Ooh.
I know. So for that reason, I'm going Jingle All the Way.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Alrighty.
I know it's a movie I need to actually watch. I'm sure I would love it.
This is Speak Freely, where we get all the hot takes and the tea. Can't confirm Jilly's never seen Die Hard. Leave it in the comments.
Just leave it in the comments. I feel the hatred already. Merry Christmas.
Our viewers are pretty good. Brian, since I've conducting this first round, and because let's be honest, you chose Jingle All the Way, I didn't.
I did.
Your history with the films, and then who are you voting for?
I'm 80% sure I've seen Die Hard. I know
100%.
No, I know the story. I know what happens. I know, who the bad guy is and who the good guy is. I know exactly what the good guy's motive is. I know like all this background stuff you need to know to like Die Hard. I cannot remember anything relating to Christmas in Die Hard.
It's set during Christmas time.
Lots of Christmas music plays.
He learns. Here's my argument. I don't mean to cut you off, but just
No, please.
to have that Die Hard debate, I think a Christmas movie is when someone learns the values of Christmas. And it may not be the traditional Christian Christmas values, but I think John McClane becomes a better father. He learns how to be a better husband. And that is why it is. And he saves people. It's a Christmas movie. And that is why.
The whole reason he's there is to spend Christmas with his family. So he wouldn't, without Christmas, he wouldn't even have been there in the first place.
But to retort, does he learn to be a better father and husband? Because the sequels.
Okay, here's my thing. I actually have never seen any of the sequels.
So they don't exist.
They don't.
Okay,
not canon.
Yeah, I know that there's Jai Courtney or whatever the heck. I don't even know if that's his kid, but
yeah,
it is a Christmas movie.
It's just
okay.
Let's not talk about it though.
And
we
do not speak on that one. They're all pretty solid up until that one. Like they're all watchable up until that one.
Yeah, five was a hot mess for sure. Anyways,
yeah.
Brian, we digress. Continue, sir.
Yes, sorry to cut you off.
No, this is what we're here for. We're here for the debates. We're here to convince each other, right? To persuade each other. Unsuccessfully, though, in this case. Because I until I watch Die Hard again, like none of that comes up in memory. Like I don't know anything Christmas in Die Hard, right? But Jingle All the Way is firmly implanted in my brain. Like Turbo Man was so cool. I wanted a Turbo Man growing up. Yeah. And it's fun. It's so fun. I still remember the scene with the reindeer, like just the animation on the reindeer's face, the animatronics on it. Like when I was a kid, like that was amazing. Like that has stuck with me. And so my vote goes for Jingle All the Way.
God damn it! You're gonna make me.
Yeah, tiebreaker for
right off the bat.
Justice for Brewster. Booster.
This is literally insane. This is why this show is wild.
Okay, I hate this. Okay.
Come on, David. I believe
David.
All right, so just to kind of echo everyone's history, essentially the same. Like I've watched both of these films, and they're both classics. I do have a point of contingency with Die Hard because I am of the mindset like Bruce Willis that's not technically a Christmas film. There's Christmas in it for sure. And there's like little Christmas themes, but to me, it's not really a Christmas film. But then at the same time, although I did enjoy Jingle All the Way as a kid, to me, it's so cynical and pessimistic sometimes about like the nature of what Christmas really is about, quote unquote. It's like, it's just a holiday. It's just a commercial holiday and blah, blah, blah. And the cynicism behind it sometimes, especially when I was like older and watched it, I was like, this movie's kind of like mean-spirited and it's bumming me out if I'm being honest. So this is really hard for me because essentially it's like which one bums me out less?
Which one bums me out less?
I mean, real talk. Like usually the rest of the year, especially this year, it's just been Bumville Central. Like it's just been
hashtag
like
Bumville. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like if I had to choose one of these films to pop in to feel good, I'm going Die Hard.
Damn it!
Because it's fun. It's also, I can't deny, it's a classic action film. It's like it gave us action star Bruce Willis, and it's like, yeah, okay. Right off the bat, wow. That was not easy though. I might regret my decision later. All right.
You should already regret your decision.
I regret everything leading me up to
Regret
that.
it.
Sure. No regret. No raggarts.
No raggarts.
No raggarts here. No raggarts here. Alrighty. Brian, why don't you choose the next person to lead us into the next round?
Since Die Hard won, let's go with Jeannine because that was your pick.
Fair.
Okay. Well, then I'll just keep going down the line, and I'll go with 3 and 6.
All right, so we got The Muppet Christmas Carol versus The Holiday.
Yes.
All right, Jeannine, go ahead and start us off. What is your history, and then ultimately, what is your pick?
So The Muppet Christmas Carol is actually the one that I haven't seen in like a billion years. So I don't know that I remember it all that great, aside from We're Marley and Marley. Woo!
Oh my god, that's so fun that you say that.
Yeah, so not to hate on it, I just haven't like really felt the need to revisit it when I go to watch A Christmas Carol. There are plenty of other versions that I would actually go to first, so that's probably why I haven't seen it in so long. I actually really love The Holiday. Like, I could watch that any time of year. It just makes you feel so good. And the character Iris is literally like my spirit animal. Like, I have been in her situation, so I relate to her so strongly. And like, you just love all the characters, and Jude Law is just very nice to look at. And so The Holiday always makes me feel good. I can watch it any time of year, but especially during holiday time, it just gives you all the feels. So because The Muppet Christmas Carol is not the version that I tend to go to during holiday time, and The Holiday is like an iconic holiday movie for me, I'm going to go with The Holiday.
Let's move down the line. So, Jill.
So I'm a little bit of the opposite. For me, The Muppet Christmas Carol is one of the earliest Christmas films I remember seeing as a kid. So it kind of has this nostalgic thing for me. And other than probably like the Disney Christmas Carol with like Mickey Mouse and Goofy, this is probably my second go-to for the Christmas Carol telling story because it has that little cheesy camp kind of twisty feel to it. But The Holiday, I've only seen maybe once or twice, but I absolutely adore this movie. The story is great, and having Jack Black, who isn't like your quintessential lead romantic male,
fall in love with him.
Like I freaking loved that so much because as someone who is also dating someone who's a little more on the cuddly side,
same.
Like I love that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we need more of that representation. We need more of those like not quintessential leading romantic men. So all my love, I freaking loved that about this movie. And I think this bracket for me is like my second hardest bracket to choose.
Uh-oh.
I think because of the Jack Black playing the lead romantic role, I gotta give it to The Holiday.
Yay for the good cuddle buddy.
We love a good cuddle buddy in this household.
Yeah.
We love men with some meat on their bones.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of men with meat on their bones, David.
No, let's go with Abby.
Okay, Abby.
Because this is
Okay.
I think she mentioned like this is like a bracket that's like
Yes, this is my hardest one. I just watched The Holiday for the first time this holiday season.
Oh.
ooh.
But I fell in love with it, and I was like 5 stars on Letterboxd. Like, wow, this movie's amazing.
My Wallach is adorable.
Yes, we love it. Oh my god! So I really love this movie. I think it's going to become one of my like go-tos in like the upcoming years. But Muppet Christmas Carol, that movie is amazing. It's Michael Caine acting like he's in a Shakespearean play. He does not act like he is walking around with Muppets, crazy ass Muppets. I just watched this one on Saturday for the first time in a couple of years, and I was like, this movie is just amazing. Like, Similar to Jillian, it's like probably my second go-to Christmas Carol after the Mickey's one. And I just think it's so good. Brian Henson does a great job directing. I mean, Kermit the Frog is Bob Cratchit. Like, that's just, wow. his performance as Bob Cratchit is just like, wow, Oscar contending, you know? I also love this movie just because of the times that it has been asked about. I think there's specifically a question that said, who plays Charles Dickens in A Christmas Carol?
Yep.
And some people might have challenged that it's a hard question because the answer is Gonzo. So I remember that being a Schmodown moment, but I love this movie. I'm going to go Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. This one was hard for me.
Yeah.
All right, now repeat the bit about men with meat on their bones.
So, speaking of ruggedly handsome men,
Thank you.
David.
Thank you. So I have not seen the Muppet Christmas Carol in a long time.
Yeah.
Like a long time. So I have vague memories of like Gonzo and Kermit and Miss Piggy and all that stuff. When I first watched The Holiday, I was like in high school, like a very angsty teenager. Grr, My Chemical Romance. Ooh.
Grr. Chemical Romance doesn't make you go grr. It makes you go aw.
Hey, I'm not okay. Okay.
Exactly. Not okay. But now it is okay. It's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay.
And I don't mind sharing this. I used to have this thing though, where it was like me and two other of my very closest friends. We would secretly get together at my house on the weekends and watch rom-coms specifically.
Yes.
Like,
My heart's so happy.
So we went through a bunch of different rom-coms for like my junior and senior year of high school. And I remember there's like a couple that really stuck out, and The Holiday was one of them, where all three of us, my friend Ryan and Jeremy, we were just watching it. We were like all three of us were like on the edge of our seat. We all cried on the cues where we're supposed to cry.
Oh.
And I remember specifically because like I already liked Jack Black because of Tenacious D and everything he did before that. And seeing him here, like he's just a good dude, like a straight guy type of leading man. And he's like, if he's not playing it up or hamming it up, he's very like, oh, he's a good dude, and I would love to hang out with him. You're rooting for him the whole movie, and then, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I also like was introduced to Jude Law, and I'm like, that's a handsome British guy, and
That's a handsome man.
handsome boy, and then obviously Cameron Diaz was great in it. Kate Winslet. I mean, everything about this film just like resonated with me so much so that we watched it 2 more times after that. Then I watched it with my family 2 more times after that because I just immediately fell in love with the film. So I am choosing The Holiday.
Ooh.
I legit love this film so much. I own it on Blu-ray. I love this film a lot. Brian, we have our contender moving forward, but let's hear your history and also who you would have voted for.
First of all, I forgive you for not inviting me to this rom-com Friday.
You were too busy doing whatever it was that you were doing at the time.
I hope you have seen Only You, right? Starring Robert Downey Jr. and I'm blanking on her name right now, Marissa Tomei. Right? Because if you didn't watch that and then you didn't get the joke in Spider-Man, right, when they were together, because that's what they were kind of referring to. But in back to what we're doing with the Muppet Christmas Carol and Holiday, I remember watching the Muppet Christmas Carol growing up. I can't recall anything now, unfortunately. But I do love the Muppets and Jim Henson, and like this whole week I've actually been listening to the Green Album, right? The Muppet Green Album.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun.
Good album.
That. Yeah, I love it. But The Holiday is a classic. It's really, really good. And I love Jack Black from like Orange County and Tenacious D. And so I guess I would have voted for The Holiday also, to be honest.
It's such a sweet
It's
film.
really
Like,
good.
Yeah.
It's really
so
good.
good. Just everything. Jude Law like stumbling. He's like, I can't believe I'm saying it. I love you. Can't believe how many times. Just everything about it.
And the score is beautiful as well. The music
the
is
score is
so
so
good. Yes.
Yes. Anyways, all right. Enough gushing about The Holiday. We'll get back to it in a bit. But Jilly, it's up to you to decide which one we go after next. Elf versus Love Actually or Klaus versus
I'm going to do the one that is probably the easiest bracket for me, and that is 4 and 5. So we're just going to go down the line.
All right. Brilliant. And
Okay.
start us off with number 4 and 5, your history with the films, and then ultimately your vote.
So Elf was the first Christmas film I think I ever actually saw in theaters with like my parents. Like I think this was the first time I actually went to a theater, ordered popcorn, sat down and watched a Christmas movie. And I remember coming out of this film being completely obsessed with it. For years, my best friend and I would answer the phone to each other, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Like for years. I love Elf. This is one of my go-to films. This was on my top 4 list that we were asked to give for this bracket here. And I've never seen Love Actually. So, because of that, Elf is one of my, not even one of my favorite Christmas movies. Elf is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Will Ferrell is absolutely perfect as Buddy the Elf. He's so childlike and whimsical, and it's cheesy and it's cute, and there's little touches of romance in it and family, and he turns the dad into like someone who's on the naughty list into someone who believes in Santa, and it's just all around amazing. And I've never seen Love Actually, so it is Elf. I am voting for Elf.
Oof. Ugh.
I know, I'm sorry. I've never seen Love Actually. I know, I'm terrible. I couldn't even tell you what Love Actually is even about. Like,
well, immediately
Actually.
I'm assuming it's about love.
Actually, it's about love. Immediately after this, you need to go watch that film. But
I do. It's on my list.
Abby.
Well, I also have something to do after this podcast because I have also not seen Love Actually.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I don't feel as lame now. Thank you, Abby.
But similar to Jill, I love Elf. I think it's probably my favorite Christmas movie. I think it's just the quintessential, like 2000s, like and beyond, just Christmas movie. I think it's a beautiful film and it's amazing, and everyone should watch it every year if you like Christmas, if that's your thing. So my vote is for Elf. So.
Wow,
that was easy.
Oh. All right,
That makes me feel so much better that you haven't seen it. I feel so much better now. I was like, they're all gonna hate me. Okay.
No, because everyone who like loves this movie like goes hard for it, and I'm still just like, it's not even like that. I'm like not trying to watch this movie. I just like haven't gotten to it.
It's on my list, but it's like it's not at the top of my list right now.
Yeah.
I'll get to it, just probably not anytime soon.
I get that too. And then
Where you live, I will send you my copy of my DVD.
It's okay. My co-hosts have already given me so much shit about not seeing this film. So I think they're gonna make me sit down and like stream it over our computers so we can like watch it. Like they're like, how have you not seen this movie? So I'll get to it. I will eventually get to it. I promise.
Jeannine.
So I do really enjoy Elf. Elf is actually, though, the reason why my co-host Morgan hates Will Ferrell and will never watch another. He saw this was the first and only Will Ferrell movie he's seen.
No.
Will Ferrell was so loud and obnoxious to him that he never wants to watch another Will Ferrell movie.
Morgan, no! You're missing out. You're missing out on so much, Morgan. Anchorman, Ricky Bobby.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
I'm definitely in for a fight if I ever try to do a Will Ferrell one.
Producers,
Morgan hasn't seen.
Will he not even see the producers because Will Ferrell has...
So I'm tempted to try to do. I'm tempted to try to do a Will Ferrell month, and Morgan hasn't seen and force him to watch some of those. But because of Elf, he refuses to watch anything with Will Ferrell.
So interesting.
So in watching it this year, I did notice he is kind of annoying and like.
But that's the point of the character. That's literally the point.
But there is a good mix of like Christmas spirit in there. Like I love when he goes on the little date and like she was kind of weirded out by him at first, but then she just sees how lovable he is, and their date is like the cutest thing in the whole movie for me. And like James Caan is definitely very harsh, and so I love how he kind of warms up to Buddy by the end and is believing in things. So that's always like a good heartwarming feeling. For me, I do watch Love Actually every Christmas. The first time I saw it was in theaters with my sister, who never watches movies at all, who never can really keep focus in movies at all, but she actually really loved this movie. It's in these kind of fun vignette storytelling where people's stories kind of interact. So I do like the aspect of the storytelling. But, you know, the more times I watch it, I do notice there are a lot of kind of problematic things in this movie.
No.
There's like a guy who's in love with his best friend's like wife.
That's not okay.
There's like potential affairs.
That's not cute. That's not okay.
Women are a little bit objectified in this movie. Like,
I don't want to see this movie anymore.
I mean, and like, I don't know, in recent years, I've kind of picked up on these things. So while I do love the idea of it, and I love that it's, you know, well-intentioned, and British comedy is, I think, some of the best comedy out there. So the comedy aspects play really well. It is a little bit sad at moments, and things don't work out perfectly for every character. So I like that realness of it. So this is kind of a tough one for me. This is probably my hardest one because, yes, like I kind of let Morgan's hate kind of feed on me a little bit in my recent watch of Elf, and it was kind of like, he is kind of annoying. And Love Actually is kind of problematic, but I do still love both of these movies. So what do I do? So I think because Love Actually is one I've seen more, and it does kind of play on real things. It's not completely perfect, and Love is not completely perfect, and they don't shy away from that. I think I'm gonna go with Love Actually.
All right.
Oh man, I want to. I'm pretty sure I know Brian's answer, but Brian,
you should go first.
I should go first. All right.
Yeah.
I'll make this easy. I've seen both. I like both. I completely 100% echo Jeannine's criticism of both films. Like I can sit through and watch Elf, but there is certain moments where I'm just like, oh, yeah, this guy's a little annoying. Like it's just a little like, oh god, a little grating sometimes. And then recently, having watched Love Actually, like the themes are there and like the ideas are there, but there's some things where I'm like, oof, that's a little.
Yeah, that doesn't play that great.
Yeah, 2020 being hindsight, it's just like, oh, that would not, nope. But I do love Actually the themes of like that film, and like, yeah, like it's like set around the holidays, and like there's new love being rekindled. There's like sweet innocent love. There's like a love that's fading. There's like there's sad moments in it, and then there's good moments, and it's just an all around like the themes about like what love actually is, without no pun intended this time. Like
yeah.
I like that a lot too. So I'm gonna echo Jeannine and say I'm voting for Love Actually, and that means Ryan is the tiebreaker. That's all I care about. Brian, good luck, buddy.
Oh,
whoever you vote for, the other two people are gonna hate you. Just as a heads up. So
right. So I will say Alan Rickman is in Love Actually.
Yes.
So that's a plus. His character's not the best, I will say, but
he acts it very well. Like
he does.
He's very good in it.
Cream actor, yes.
Yes.
And then Rowan Atkinson doing
Mr. Bean
his
is hilarious.
It's just
so
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah.
The physical comedy is so good.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is hard because I wanted both of these on my list. And then David said, no, someone's gonna pick Elf. We should just shy away from it. It's like, all right, I can't pick Elf then.
Was I right or was I right?
I think almost everybody had Elf on their list.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost.
It was on mine.
This is so hard because
What
this
was
is the
your gut?
hardest one for me. This is the hardest one. I love.
You have an epic
Oh.
version of "All I Want for Christmas Is You," so
Wait,
gotta throw that out there.
isn't that song on both films? What's the one that Zoe Deschanel sings?
Baby's cold outside, which I do love that part too.
Yeah.
Even though
Which
he's
I think
with her.
they are playing on the
shower.
cheapness of the song. Yeah. But in Will Ferrell, Zoe Deschanel, Will Ferrell, and I think Will Ferrell is really good in Elf. He plays like he's the perfect person to play Buddy the Elf. And I've seen it this past Sunday, and it was still really funny. I love that. I laughed at every scene.
No.
But then on the other hand, Love Actually, like the way that they intertwine all the stories. That was the first time I've seen something like that, where like multiple stories kind of interconnect with each other. And then without Love Actually, you don't get Valentine's Day. So there's that. I don't know. Let's just skip it. Let's go into the next bracket.
No,
No.
I'll pick one.
No, I'm going with Elf, just because ultimately that is the most Christmas spirited movie that there is, right? And I can't shy away from that. Will Ferrell is really funny. He's kind of kind of gone downhill in the recent years, but this is like peak Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
You got Elf, you have the Talladega Nights, you have
Elf, Anchorman, Talladega Nights. It's
Step
all of those.
Brothers, all that.
Yeah, Step Brothers. Yeah.
Stranger Than Fiction is great.
Stranger Than Fiction.
So-
You mentioned that movie's really good.
Stranger Than Fiction. and
That's
there's-
what that's what I'm gonna try to working up with.
There we go. Warm them
Came
up
up
to
being
it.
crazy.
Warm them up to it.
Alrighty, it looks like Elf is moving on, and looks like we lost Brian. Oh,
Oh.
Team Brian, he voted for Elf.
no, it's fine. It's fine. This is just a little ribbing. All right, well, I guess our last one, Klaus, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and because Brian ruined our friendship in the last round, I'm gonna let him ruin another friendship in this one, and I'm gonna make you start this one, sir.
Oh, this one is also pretty tough because How the Grinch Stole Christmas, right, with Jim Carrey. There's nobody in the world who could play the Grinch the way Jim Carrey plays the Grinch, right? The physicalness of it, like I watched it and like I've always loved Jim Carrey, like from like Ace Ventura and on. And seeing him play this role with all the makeup and all that stuff, like it was amazing to see. Like I couldn't believe that was Jim Carrey, but I can also believe it because the way he moves, like that's Jim Carrey. But with that said, Klaus is amazing. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing to watch, and the story it's pretty good. Like it's an above average story. And it's pretty clever in the way that they introduce like who Santa Claus is and how the legend kind of like evolved over the years, in this case over the months. And it's by Sergio Pablos, who is the creator of Despicable Me, right? He's on this journey of like really bringing back that 2D animation and like really like changing what you can do with 2D animation. And for that reason alone, like I'm picking Klaus. Right? I think this is like Klaus is the beginning of the future for animation.
Okay, Jilly.
Can I just say I'm mad that 3 of my 4 picks are in the bottom 2 brackets, and both of these picks were mine, and now I have to choose my favorite one between 2 of my picks, and that's not fair.
It's like choosing your favorite child. Yeah.
Literally, because okay, How the Grinch Stole Christmas for me is up there with Elf. Like these two, to me, are interchangeable to some of my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I am obsessed with Jim Carrey. And like what Brian said, I don't think any other actor could have portrayed the Grinch in the way that Jim Carrey did. They made like a 30-minute Dr. Seuss animated little short into like this really in-depth hour-and-a-half full-on storytelling of the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who and the people of Whoville and how and what Christmas really means and how it's not about the gifts and the present. It's about the family and the coming together. And it's so gorgeous and so beautiful. Klaus, I saw for the first time last year. And as soon as I saw this, I said, like, y'all know me, I'm the animated movie connoisseur. This is one of the most beautiful animated films I've ever seen in my entire life. And it was absolutely robbed of Best Animated Film at the Golden Globes. Robbed.
100%.
Absolutely robbed. We watched this movie yesterday with our patrons over on POV, and none of my co-hosts had seen it. A lot of our patrons had never seen it. And when the movie was over, they said this is one of now like a go-to Christmas film, one of their favorite Christmas films they've ever seen, one of the most amazing animated films they've ever seen. I wish they animated Tangled in the same animation they did with Klaus. That's how beautiful this animation is. It looks like a painting. It's a storytelling of Santa Claus with really no like mythical, really backstory with it until the very, very end of the film. Oh, this is so hard for me. I absolutely love both of these movies.
This is what we're here for. Hardships. That's good. Just kidding.
Because like Klaus, you need tissues at the end, but then also like Cindy Lou Who, Where Are You Christmas? You're also like crying and like I'm gonna go with Klaus. Ooh, I gotta go with Klaus. It's such a beautiful film, and everyone I know who I have made see it has said that this is now one of their go-tos and one of their favorite Christmas films. So I am gonna go with Klaus.
Alrighty, Jeannine.
Okay, so How the Grinch Stole Christmas, like you said, I do love how they were able to stretch the story. And usually when you do something like that, like they add a lot of things that just don't work or just don't fit, or they just feel like padding. But the backstory and things that they added to the Grinch's story really humanized him a lot more, and seeing him as a kid and being bullied and things like that really added to the character in a great way. I think the look of the characters, like that iconic Dr. Seuss animation or like, you know, hand drawings could have been really jarring, but the way they interpreted that felt so perfect, like right off the page without being creepy or weird. Like it just felt very Dr. Seuss, because I grew up reading those books as a kid. So all of that worked really well. Jim Carrey was amazing. Like he trained with like torture experts, because being in all of that makeup, like he felt very claustrophobic and like would have like freakouts, and then he couldn't even like smoke because he would like set all the green yak hair, he called it, on fire. So like he was just super stressed. So the fact that he like endured that and fought through that to give such a really great performance in that movie. There's also low-key like a key party scene, which is kind of scandalous.
What's a key party?
A key party is something they would do in the like swingers would do in the 70s, like couples, where like you would just put all your keys in a bowl and then you draw a key and that's who you'd go home with. Even if, you know, instead of your spouse, you would go home with whoever's key you got.
I got it.
And there's literally a scene in there where like the two old ladies that take care of Grinch when he's a little baby, they were having a key party when he got dropped off at their house. So I was like, what? This is scandalous. So that really makes me laugh. So yeah, I recently watched this movie and just still holds up, still reminds me of, you know, that story. I remember actually being in a play of this when I was a little kid. So I loved that. I was the person who came up and said, you know, his heart grew, you know. So definitely a very memorable moment. But yeah, really love this movie and love how they were able to expand the story. And I've never seen Klaus.
Jeannine, oh my gosh, you need to watch Klaus. Like,
Oh, I mean, I've heard that it's beautiful, and from what I've seen of the animation, it looks really great. But yeah, I've never seen Klaus, so I just kind of have to go with the Grinch.
okay. Like I said, these two are hard for me, so whoever wins this bracket, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But you
So-
need to see Klaus. Oh my gosh. You need to go see
Definitely,
Klaus.
definitely.
So good.
Ooh.
So good.
One for Klaus, one for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Avi, your history,
So-
and who are you voting for?
Yeah, so what I'm doing actually after I watch Love Actually is I'm watching Klaus because I have also not seen that.
Oh my god,
Um,
guys. Oh,
I love How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and so I will be voting for that one.
watch Klaus before you see Love Actually.
I've
or actually,
always heard, like, the way that Jillian talks about this film, that is all I've heard about that movie. I've never heard anything less than like
Yeah.
that amount of love for it. So I know I will watch it sometime soon. I just like have not got around to it. So the Grinch has my vote.
Well, now's the perfect time.
season's over.
Got 2 more days. So,
Got 2 more days.
You got 2 more days.
well, at
Um,
the time of this release, I have
One
half
day.
a day.
Well,
Half a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So-
enough to watch. That's enough to watch an hour and a half movie.
So
You got it.
actually, yeah.
Probably watch Love Actually first, and then watch Klaus.
Okay.
Just end on a good feel note. You know what I mean?
Or
Okay,
should I
that's
watch
fair.
Jingle All the Way first?
Watch
Definitely
Jungle
watch
All
Got
the
a
Way.
lot of hard work, Abby.
Yeah, you got a big day ahead of you.
You came out with this schedule. I was like, or this bracket. I was like, dang, I have not seen half of these.
Alrighty. Oh, it's up to me again. All right. Well, this is unfortunate because I too have not seen Klaus.
No!
Oh,
I apologize. It's
Like I said, it's okay. The Grinch was like my number 2, so I'm not upset about it. But
Again-
you all need to watch Klaus.
yeah. We got homework.
Klaus probably would have been my top film. So watch it.
Again though, what everybody said, like everyone that's ever seen it, I've never heard a bad thing about it. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna try to get to watch it sometime this week. I'm sorry, I've just never
Do it,
gotten
and
around
then
to
when
it.
you're done, DM me and tell me what your thoughts, because I want to know.
I'll definitely will. But
Yay.
for this bracket, because of that, yeah, I have to
Well,
go.
see, and that's the thing about Klaus is that people don't watch it until you like force feed it to them, and you're like, "Watch Klaus,
Do it or else.
do it, watch
Yeah.
this Christmas movie."
That's how I've lived my life, just with threats.
yeah, and it's really unfortunate because like I personally have been looking forward to Klaus for 3 years because I've heard about Sergio Pablos talk about Klaus from when like his first inception of the idea, and I've been looking forward to this movie. This came out last year in 2019.
Yep.
It's like first day it was out, like I was up and I was watching it, and then I found out that no one knew about it. Which
No
is
one knows
really
about it.
disappointing. Yeah, nobody knows. Even till now, nobody knows about it, and
I
that's
know.
really disappointing.
It deserves to have the same like recognition as an Elf or a Grinch, and it needs that same love, I think.
Yeah. So please do us a favor and watch it.
Please,
I'll watch it for you,
yay,
Jilly, not for Brian.
yay!
No, I'm just kidding. I'll watch it. I'll watch it for both of you, and I'll DM you both like my reactions and stuff. But moving on to our semifinals, we have Die Hard versus The Holiday. Oh boy, and this one's probably going to be harder for me too. Elf versus How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I'm gonna have a really difficult time with that one.
Oh my god, that one. Because okay, I'm gonna let Abby choose our
Okay.
semifinal match. Exactly.
I'm gonna go with Die Hard and The Holiday.
All right, which one gets your vote?
So as much as I originally fought for Die Hard just to say that it was a Christmas movie, and although I do think it is a Christmas movie, I think The Holiday is a better Christmas movie. I think that it's just a stronger film, and being younger, it holds up more, and people always have a lot of love for it. And Die Hard is more controversial, so my vote is for The Holiday.
Easy peasy. Jeannine, Die Hard versus The Holiday.
So this is tough because these were my two picks.
No. Now you know my pain. Now you know my pain.
Yes. I just love unconventional Christmas movies. Like I love Christmas horror, and
Give me some Krampus.
Yes, I love Krampus. I've been trying to get Abby to watch Better Watch Out for like
We will watch it. We will watch it too.
Yes. And then watch Batman Returns right after that.
Oh, yes. My favorite Batman movie. My favorite Batman movie.
Yes, I love Batman Returns.
Yes. Die Hard, actually, I feel like it has more Christmas elements in it than The Holiday, to be honest.
Controversially, like,
yeah.
Christmas movies, you know?
They're both Christmas movies.
Because, The Holiday is more about the characters and the switch and life changes as opposed to the actual holiday of Christmas. Because the Holiday kind of more applies to just like a vacation holiday more than like
just the
Christmas
2 weeks
holiday.
that
they switch lives. But like the whole concept of Christmas is kind of a feel-good situation, and The Holiday just has more of the feels. So while I do love Die Hard, it's epic, it's iconic, it's something I go to every Christmas. I love all the characters. The Holiday just feels like home to me. It's just very relatable and lovable, and you just feel so good after watching it. Every time you watch it, it never gets old. And that's what Christmas is about, the warm holiday feels, and The Holiday does that. So I gotta go with The Holiday.
That's 2-0. Jilly?
This one's easy for me. I'm going to go with the one that feels definitely more holiday to me, and the one that I would totally be happy and cheerful and jolly sitting around with my family around the fire watching. And give me some more Jack Black, man. It's The Holiday.
And just like that, clean sweep.
Boom,
The
boom.
Holiday advances, but just for prosperity. Prosperity? I can't speak today.
Just because.
Thank you. Ryan, who would you have voted for?
Easy, The Holiday.
Honestly, same.
Yeah.
I would have voted.
Watch out, guys.
I completely agree with like Jeannine and like Abby and Jilly. It's that's a feel good movie, and like it's like the themes are reminiscent of like The Holiday. So completely agree. All right, let's move on to. I feel this one is probably our hardest one yet.
Mm-hmm.
If not, it probably will be the hardest of the whole bracket. Maybe we'll see. But Elf versus How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and just because I love to create controversy, I'm gonna make Jilly
No!
start us off.
Like I said, this is hard for me because if Klaus is my number one, my 2 and 3 constantly switch between Elf and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Ugh.
Welcome to Speak Freely, where
This is so hard for me because I love both of these movies so freaking much. I don't know. I have to pick one.
Yes,
Because I keep going well, I quote Elf more often, but I also am freaking obsessed with Jim Carrey, and he's great as the Grinch. But then Buddy, Will Ferrell is great as freaking Buddy the Elf, but there's cute little Cindy Lou Who, but Zooey Deschanel is also pretty great, and so I'm ugh.
yes.
Oh my god, this is so hard.
Go with your gut.
I know.
Go with your gut instinct, whatever pops into your head first.
I think for me, because what I would rather sit around the fire and watch with my family, just because I think it's more happy-go-lucky, I'm gonna go with Elf.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Elf.
I just want to say, Jilly, thank you so much for that grand sacrifice you just made.
Thank you.
For the benefit of the show. True bravery.
That was so hard. I didn't like that at all.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Abby?
You're welcome.
So when thinking about these movies, I have more nostalgia and love for one over the other. And one of those reasons is because this one scene was really scary to me as a child, and it made me cry. And that is when the Grinch is a young kid, and it made me cry, and I'm scared of it, and I'm still kind of scared of it. So I'm gonna go with Elf.
Oh. Okay. Sure, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's my vote.
All right, Elf has 2. Jeannine?
So for rewatchability factor for me, and just creativity for me in general, I got to go with Grinch because, visually and expanding the story the way they did, and just making a character who, you only got 30 minutes of why he, you don't really know why he hates Christmas and hates everybody. But you actually get some insight on that and you feel for him. So I like that they made him feel relatable in a way. And yeah, just visually, I think they pulled off the Seuss style so perfectly. So, and they have an NSYNC song on the soundtrack.
They do.
So,
There you go.
I gotta go with
They do.
Enough said. All right, I'm gonna go next.
Go for it.
Specifically because, again, real talk, both of these movies to me are really close in terms of like rewatchability for me. There's a couple of things I find that I dislike about both films. For me personally, it's just personal taste. But at the same time, like I can't deny how classic Elf is and how it entered into that Christmas like culture, and how that movie is like on the same vein as like those original like Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman, where it's like a quintessential Christmas film. And then also how The Grinch Stole Christmas, again, how they were able to expand the storyline I think is brilliant. I'm also a huge Jim Carrey fan. I've been a huge Jim Carrey fan since I was a kid. Like my favorite movie of Jim Carrey, and it's like very underrated, I feel like, is like Liar Liar.
Yes.
Liar Liar is so
Liar,
good.
Liar.
It's such a sweet, adorable movie, and it has
love
such a great message in it. So, and again, I find the Grinch less annoying than Elf, so I'm voting for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm making Brian break the tie.
You did this to me
You
on
got
purpose.
this, Brian.
Yes, I did.
Like I've said, no matter who wins this, I'm not mad about it because both of these are great. So my heart will not be broken, but you do you, Brian.
Oh man,
Good luck, buddy. I love
Jon
that.
Favreau, Ron Howard, right? Like who is a better director?
One brought you the MCU. One brought you the Mandalorian.
One brought you Solo.
One brought you Solo. There you go. But
I mean, did he?
did he?
He saved it.
He
Well,
finished
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Did
there
he
you go.
save it?
Hey,
Well,
I
that's
like
good, too.
Solo. We love Solo in this household.
Yeah, this one's hard because, like David was saying, like Elf has really entered. Like it's one of those like modern Christmas films that have really entered that space of like this is a Hollywood Christmas film that everybody has to watch. And then How the Grinch Stole Christmas, like Jeannine was saying, it's also beautiful to look at. Like it's amazing how they brought it to life. Because before that, like everything was always animation, right? It was either hand drawn or like the Lorax was CG, and that was like the only way that they could bring it to life.
Mike Myers.
We don't talk about that one.
And just to interject real quick, the movie's actually so iconic with the set and everything. It is an attraction at Universal.
Yeah, at Universal,
Studios
it's still
on the
there.
pier.
That too.
Still there.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
No!
It's hard. I know. It's hard.
This is
But the
easy.
one
Go for
that
it.
I go to more often than the other is Elf, because Will Ferrell. I mean, come on, like Jeannine, if you're gonna sit down with Morgan to watch Will Ferrell movies, this is my suggestion. Right? It's Stranger Than Fiction, Everything Must Go,
Yeah.
and then
That's
Step
too.
Brothers.
And then Step Brothers. Step Brothers is
Yes,
my favorite.
Iconic films, all three.
yes, but I am voting for Elf. I think. Yes.
Yay!
Well,
Do.
here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our finalists. And oh boy, we have the feel good love stories. There's two.
There's two.
Their holiday, and we have the silly, goofy but lovable thematic elf. And I mean, volunteers are victims at this point. I don't want to choose someone to start, but whoever feels like starting first.
Let's pick David.
Well, fine. Yeah, I know it. Fine. This is kind of easy for me because I've clearly stated how much I loved one compared to the other. I'm voting the holiday. I think the holiday for me is a better feel good film, and like I have no icky feelings after watching it through the film or after the fact. So holiday for me.
Okay, Jilly.
For me, for this criteria, for me, it's what film can I watch with both my parents along with my 6-year-old cousin? What's going to hold the attention of the entire family when, not now because COVID, but next year when the whole big family comes together for Christmas, and that is 100% Elf. Elf is going to be my number one Christmas film.
Jeannine.
Easy for me, definitely same as David. The holiday, like
Yeah,
I'm a rom-com girl through and through.
Yep.
There we go.
This movie just gives me all the feels, 100%.
There we
The
go.
holiday, yeah.
So this is
100%.
what I'm going to do because I'm going to vote for Elf, which brings us to Abby.
The tiebreaker.
Oh, I know what Abby.
Do, 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 do.
I'm going to give her a fill right now.
No. Bring it back. Okay.
So this all comes down to you.
Okay. Well,
No pressure.
so I am a youngin, as y'all would call me. I am younger than some people here, and I grew up on Elf. I did just watch The Holiday literally 2 weeks ago and really fell in love with the film, but my final vote, and for the best Christmas movie of all time, no questions asked,
No
will be
question.
for Elf.
Woo!
And Morgan is going to hate all of you.
I am never invited on Morgan Hasn't Seen.
Yay!
There you have it, folks. Our top Christmas film of all time, definitive, no questions asked, no other opinions matter, because ours is the final word. Your top Christmas film.
Woohoo!
Elf. Round of applause, everybody. Round of
Yay! We did it!
We did it, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. This was an absolute blast. Did y'all have fun?
Yes!
Yes.
Was it
Absolutely.
was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Thank you. Thank
I
you
always
for
had-
having me.
Of course. When I was talking with Brian, I was like, I for sure want to get some of our favorite reactors on, and of course, I immediately thought of you three as some of my personal favorite top
Mhm.
reactors. I know technically, Abby, you're no longer a reactor, but
Yeah, I'm a reactor loser, as we would say.
but legit, like
Losing reactor.
I watch
But
POV.
now you work for the show now, so it all comes full circle. It's all
Yay!
right. Out.
and yeah, so this was a lot of fun. We'll just do alphabetical order. We're gonna go one by one. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say? Brian, you have anything you want to add real quick though?
Yeah. The list that you guys sent were like a lot of them did interconnect, but there were some like really neat outliers. I just want to go through everyone here and what is one honorable mention that you want to state for people to kind of watch.
Besides
Oh, yeah.
Klaus, obviously, because we all need to go watch that. Apparently,
Besides Klaus.
One days I watch Klaus.
Yeah.
For me, my fourth pick was the OG, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, like the original animated with the hokey song and like the "You're a mean one." So that was my runner-up since my other three were on here. That was my runner-up. I also haven't seen a lot of Christmas movies, so I was like, oh God, what one do I watch? It's the OG, the OG Mr. Grinch.
Jeannine.
I always love The Long Kiss Goodnight. It is also holiday action penned by Shane Black, so you know how much he loves Christmas. Just a kick-ass female lead, Samuel Jackson, coming with some epic, hilarious one-liners.
Oh, as he always does.
Yes. So definitely an unconventional, fun action Christmas movie. And also Better Watch Out, which I keep telling you.
We will watch it. We will watch it.
A great kind of sneaky surprise holiday horror that like just kind of blew me away and came out of nowhere and really surprised me. I love that one. And also Krampus. I really love Krampus. The cast is great. The story is great. Yeah. So those are my kind of outliers for sure.
That's another one that's like on my to watch list is Krampus. And I own it on Blu-ray. I just haven't seen it yet.
I would also add Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Add on to that too.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Abby, how about you?
Well, one that I suggested, which I didn't think was going to make it, was I am in love with the movie that just came out, The Happiest Season, on Hulu.
Is that with
Mackenzie,
Kristen Stewart?
Yes.
I want to see that one so bad. I just haven't had a moment to watch it.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
I've seen a lot of thoughts about it, and I'm like, I really want to see it, like, because I want to also get like
where it's like kind of problematic, but just overall, I just loved it. And so it's already one of my top Christmas movies. So that was one I suggested.
I need to watch that one so bad.
Harper or Riley?
Ooh, oh my God.
See, that's what I kept seeing. I kept seeing, you should pick this one. You should pick her. You should pick her. And I'm like, I don't want to get mad if she doesn't pick the girl that I want her to be with. Like, but like, I need to watch it.
I was just frustrated by the end, but like generally as a rom-com and like the fact that it's like a lesbian rom-com and like that's not even like ooh, like it's just normal. It's so I just loved about it. And I'm a Twilight stan. Sorry, so I love Kristen Stewart. So I like seeing her do other things, and you know, she's great. So yeah, I did like it, but it was kind of frustrating.
All right, real quick, let me just put that on my list. So Klaus. Happiest Season, Krampus. Brian, what about you? Since you're asking us all this question, what was one of your outliers?
A lot of the things that we talked about and the things that you told me I couldn't pick got picked. So
because I knew they would get picked, I was like, this is like on everyone's list. There's no way this.
Yeah, I was like Love Actually, The Holiday. Klaus was my number one, but David wouldn't let me pick it.
Yeah, Collective too, buddy. I haven't seen it.
The one that when we were talking about making this list, I was like, what do I want my list to say about me? Right. And the one movie I wanted to put, but I never mentioned to David because he would never go for it. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh,
like we purposely won't do that on It's a Wonderful Podcast because it's just too obvious. So we're saving that for like our final farewell episode or something.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I absolutely love that film. It's a classic. And David, if you want to watch it, I'll send you the Blu-ray. But please do. Yeah, I will send it to you.
All right, bet.
All right. How about you, David?
One of my outliers, and it's just because when I was a kid, it was literally the moment it came out on VHS, it was always in the background for Christmas, and that was Home Alone, the first one.
Yes, that was one on my list too.
I remember just like every Christmas, I remember watching it obviously the first time, sitting down and like finding it just absolutely hilarious and also a little scary. And then just every Christmas after that, every time I'd go visit one of my uncles, it was just always in the background, that film. So I have personal fond memories of it. So that's one of my outliers, just the original Home Alone. We don't talk about a Home Alone 2 in my house.
I like Home Alone too.
Pigeon Lady.
It was the Pigeon Lady, yeah. It's not that it's a bad film. It's just we legit don't talk about it. Like
I watched both of them last night, and I was just kind of like, really, this lady's homeless. You're not gonna offer her a shower, some clean clothes. You're gonna give her a ceramic bird. She got enough birds. What's she gonna do with this? You didn't give her no food. You didn't give her no money. You didn't give her
You gave her a bird.
You gave her a bird. She's got enough birds.
She's got enough of those. She doesn't need another one.
Yeah. Poor bird lady.
Oh, the birds.
But yeah, everyone, thank you again all so much. I'm going to let you all go one at a time. Anything you want to plug, the floor is going to be yours. We'll start off with Avi. Where can the people find you?
Y'all can find me at Abigail Friel on all social media and at the Schmodown TikTok at the Schmodown.
Awesome. Jeannine?
You can find me at Jeannine Devine on Twitter and Instagram. Please check out the It's a Wonderful podcast feed. We have some awesome shows over there. Machine Mondays every Monday. Morgan Hasn't Seen every Wednesday. And It's a Wonderful podcast every Friday. And you can find me probably also losing to POV because you guys are killing it.
Oh my God, girl.
I love you guys so much. So I predict you guys taking it.
We love you so
I predict you guys taking it because you guys are epic. So
oh my God, thank you. Coming from you, that means so much. Like we were like, we want Machine Mondays on here. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh.
Jilly, all the wonderful things you're doing.
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's, and you can also catch me over on a Certain Point of View or a Schmodown After Show podcast. We speak our thoughts, we spill the tea, we say what we mean what we say, and it's a party. Come hang out.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to link all of your socials in the comments in the description section down below. So make sure to check everybody out. Brian, where can everyone find you?
On Instagram at Kuno_stars.
Yes, and only on Instagram. He has
Only
a Twitter,
Instagram.
but he doesn't use it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Your life is probably so much more peaceful.
It's
Yes.
absurd. Good for you. It's
Yeah, every so often, like I hear people like talk about Twitter and things going on there. I'm like, I kind of want to check it out, but then I don't.
I don't think I really do.
Unless you specifically just
Yeah.
want to see Schmodown competitors lose their shit at each other, then maybe.
Yeah.
That's basically why I'm still on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
David, where can they find you at?
Oh my God, I got a lot of stuff. All right, here we go. You can find me at David B Music 21 on both Twitter and Instagram. I have a Twitch channel, David B Music 21. You can go check me out on there. This will drop Thursday. By the time this drops, spoiler alert for our guests, Jen Sturger, along with Eddie Pence and her husband Cody Decker, made a Commander Cobra Christmas special kind of spoof that I wrote music for. A lot of music for.
That's awesome.
Please go check that out. It should hopefully be out by now. They wanted to drop it by Christmas, so please go check that out. Obviously,
That's really cool.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
thank you.
Congrats. That's super
thank you so
rad.
much. Thank you. And you could also go check out my music stuff on Spotify and stuff. By the time this podcast comes out, I'll hopefully have that Beats album I've been working on drop for Christmas Eve, if not Christmas Day. And then finally, my YouTube channel as well, David B Music, where I have a couple of silly songs on there. And also I have the Smash-a-thon concert.
Oh, I was
very
gonna say that was one of my favorite freaking parts of the Smash-a-thon. Like I was running on like 4 hours of sleep that day, and you came on, and literally all of us in the backstage were effing rocking out. Like that just lit us all up and woke up, dude. That was.
That's what I try to do. I try to get everyone lit.
It
What's
was
up?
freaking
Yeah.
everyone in the chat was throwing up the signs. We were like, see, we can have concerts in quarantine, guys. This is awesome. It was bravo, sir.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. So if
It
you
was
want to
fun.
check that little concert out, it's on my YouTube channel, David B Music. And of course, you can find Speak Freely on both Twitter and Instagram at Speak Freely Pod. And if you haven't yet, follow us. Click that subscribe button. Leave a comment section. Put that thumbs up or thumbs down if you hate us for choosing Elf like everybody else. Guys, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Brian, anything else? Am I missing anything? Because I forget sometimes.
No, I think we're covered.
I think we're covered. Well, that's it, guys. This is David B. And speaking for hopefully Kuno Stars, signing off. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you hopefully in the new year. Cue the music. Ding, ding, ding.
Bye.